to my channel, A Lazy Girl's Guide to Survival. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Michaela Ives. I'm the Lazy Girl, and I started this in honor of my late boyfriend, Logan, who passed away from injuries sustained in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. Today I wanted to talk about my organ donation story and why I decided to become an organ donor, because it's something that people ask me a lot and they're actually quite surprised by the answer, because I decided to become an organ donor way before any of this had happened. And the reason I'm an organ donor is because of Will Smith. So, Will Smith inspired me to become an organ donor because my parents and I watched this movie called 7 Pounds. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna talk about it. So basically what happens is Will Smith is the main character, and he ends up meeting all of these really amazing people and ends up donating his organs to them, all the organs that they needed to enhance their lives or to save their lives, because he found them worthy. And it really inspired me to become an organ donor, because that was really my first time learning about organ donation, because it's not something that my parents had ever talked to me about, and it's not something that I ever learned in school before. So it kind of like opened the door for me to organ donation and what it all entails. So at the time I was actually volunteering at the local hospital here in Lethbridge, so I had lots of resources and lots of people to ask about it. And it's a decision that I made that when I turned 18, I was going to sign my organ donor card and become one. It was a tough thing for me to do because obviously I had to talk to my parents about this, and my parents weren't super on board with the idea right away, because there's lots of misconceptions about organ donation that myself and they also weren't aware of, and some fears that they had that, you hear scary stories, which this is not at all true. Doctors can't actually do this, but my mom was really scared that, say something happened to me similar to Logan, where I became brain dead, and I had been an organ donor, that my parents were scared that maybe the doctors were lying or were like coaxing them into making, letting them retrieve my organs to donate them and things like that. So my parents were just kind of hesitant, but once we learned a lot more about it, they were really supportive of me and of my choice. So I think that's a really important thing too, is to talk to your family and get all the information for it, and get all the facts straight, because if you don't know about it, then it can be scary. So actually my blog post this week is about how to become an organ donor, if that's something that you're interested in. I've posted links to Logan's organ donor story and links to health websites, the government websites about organ donation and how it works. So if you have any questions like that, those on my blog, there's some really helpful tips and can answer a lot of your questions. So the next thing I want to talk about is a little bit about Logan. So a lot of people ask me, did you know that Logan was an organ donor? And I did. Well, I didn't actually know that he had went ahead and signed his card, but he did talk to me about it. It was over Christmas break, and he had just asked me pretty casually. It was a really nonchalant conversation. He just said, hey, what do you think of organ donation? And I said, well, I actually am a donor, and he didn't know that. So, and he asked me some questions about it, like, what made you decide to do it? And so I told him the Will Smith story, and he asked, do I have any fears about it? Is there any, certain things that I wouldn't want donated and things like that? And I just said, in the event of my passing and, say I pass away before my parents, that I really want to be buried when I die, so I would just, hopefully I die in a way that I still look like myself, and, my mom can have that closure of seeing me, because I know that it's always been very helpful for me to see my loved ones after that they have passed. And so that was my only thing. I said I just want to be able, you know, if I pass away before my parents, that they're able to still see me as me, and I can still like donate all my internal organs and whatever else they need. And so, you know, it was maybe just a 20-minute conversation, and he said, you know, that he was interested in becoming a donor also because of his trainer, Rick, who's a really amazing man. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and he was a very great person, and he also ended up donating his organs. He was an organ donor. So that's kind of what inspired Logan, and you can check out my blog to see the link to what his story is through his parents. But you know, said and done, Logan saved 6 people, and I really don't think that that was something that he was expecting to do for a long time. But he's a hero, and he's inspired so many other people to donate, so I'm very proud of him, and I know so many other people are as well. I did want to share this small story. I wasn't able to be at the hospital after the crash, just because Logan's parents and my parents decided it was probably best that I didn't see a lot of those things. So, but a nurse had the Boulets write bracelets and write notes to Logan that he could have on him when he went in for the organ retrieval and when he was buried. And Logan's mom wrote mine for me, and she wrote mine and Logan's favorite memory on a bracelet for him, and that was really, really special to me. And I really cherish that, and, you know, he's buried with it, and that was something that I really appreciated coming from those nurses and from Logan's mom to do that for me. And so now, like, in saying that, I really view organ donation differently than I did before, because it was something that I just signed my card and I didn't really think about. People didn't ever ask me about it. It wasn't, you know, a popular topic of discussion. And so, you know, you always see those videos on Facebook or Instagram or whatever of, you know, people hearing that they're gonna get an organ, they're gonna get lungs or a heart or wherever they need, and they're just so happy, you know. And those videos always used to make me so happy, like, wow. But being on the other end of it, I appreciate that even more. I know that might not make sense, but when I see those, I'm like, I'm so happy for those people, but then a part of me is also like, there's a family who just lost a loved one. And so I can empathize with that a lot more now, and I'm so grateful that Logan did donate and that he was able to help people, because that's really who he was as a person. He just wanted to make the world a better place, and he has. So I definitely view it differently now, and I would say I think about it almost daily, whereas before I really didn't. So I'm definitely like pro organ donation and would encourage anyone to donate if that's what they wanted to do, but just to really learn more about it and get the facts straight. So that's kind of my little organ donation story for you guys. Another thing that I wanted to do in this video is thank everyone, because you guys have seriously been so amazing. I have over 15,000 people viewing my website, and that's a huge accomplishment for me. I never thought that it would get this big, and it really means a lot to me, so thank you. I also want to thank everyone who has sent me things in the mail, sent me emails, sent me messages. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And I actually wanted to give a shout out because I received a really special piece of mail the other day. So this piece of mail came all the way from Germany. It's a really kind woman, and she sent me a letter as well as a little German Christmas card. So I just wanted to say thank you to Maren from Germany, because I absolutely loved your letter and I appreciate you sending that to me so much. So thank you so much. If you guys like this video or have any questions, just comment or message me. I am happy to answer them. Also, this room will get a bit nicer. I'm also hoping to invest in a nice camera after Christmas, because I've been shooting everything on my iPhone, so I'm sorry that it's not been the best quality, but thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to me. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate it, so thank you so much, and have a Merry Christmas.